Get comfortable with English in comfort. This is your English listening practice podcast to help you learn and improve naturally.
So, you know a lot of English words. You study hard. But when you say them out loud, it just doesn't feel right. Your pronunciation is still off or different.
But it's not because you're bad at English. It's because your mouth isn't used to making these sounds, like your tongue's confused.
Your tongue and lips are used to your native language. But for English, the pronunciation can be totally different.
Here's the good news. Pronunciation isn't magic. It's practice. Today, we'll guide you through simple ways, no complicated rules, that you can start using right now to improve it. Oh, and I forgot, I'm Liam.
And I'm Emily. This is English in Comfort, the place where you can learn English while you relax, lie down, or even while you sleep. No pressure, no stress, just natural English and interesting topics.
Sit back and let's improve our pronunciation.
Okay, so let's start with the first tip. Something simple. Sounds. To improve pronunciation, you need to become a sound detective. You need to listen closely, not just to words, but to the sounds inside them.
That's right. Improving pronunciation isn't just repeating words, but it's also training your ears to hear the tiny differences between sounds.
Let's see this with an example. Take the words sleep and slip. Say them with me. Sleep. Slip.
In sleep and slip, did you notice the middle sound changes? In sleep, that E is longer, like stretching. But in slip, the E is quicker, sharper.
If you mix them up, someone might hear, I need to slip for 8 hours instead of, I need to sleep for 8 hours. That small difference changes the meaning. Now here's how to practice. Focus on sounds you find tricky. For example, some languages don't have the th sound. Like in French or German, speakers might say dis or dat instead of this or that.
If you're struggling, record yourself saying these words and compare them to a native speaker. There are apps that have features that help compare and check your pronunciation.
All right, tip number 2 to improve your pronunciation. Fix your intonation. English has its own rhythm, like any other language. If you speak in a flat, robotic tone, it's hard for people to feel what you mean.
Intonation is about how you say something, not just the words. For example, questions often rise at the end. Try this. Hey, how was your weekend?
Now, compare that to a statement. Your weekend was good. Hear the difference? If you say the question flat, it sounds like you're not really asking a question.
But it's not just questions. Emotions change your tone, too. Wow, that car is really expensive.
Try it with me. Wow, that car is really expensive.
Let's try with another quick example together. I'm really excited to go to this event. But if you say, I'm really excited to go to this event, it sounds like you're bored.
Also, don't forget gestures. Even if no one sees you, moving your hands or smiling while talking can add more to your voice and pronunciation.
Here's another key part, stressing the right word in a sentence. For example, I never said she stole my money. If you stress never, I never said she stole my money, and it means you're denying it completely.
But if you stress she, I never said she stole my money, then suddenly you're implying someone else did it.
Or stress money. I never said she stole my money, and maybe she stole your, socks? So do you see how one sentence can have 7 meanings? Just because we stressed another word?
So next time you speak, think. What's the most important word? Stress it. And if you're unsure, listen to how actors say lines in shows. They're masters of stress and intonation.
Or just imitate Emily. She's overly dramatic.
Excuse me? I'm just passionate, okay?
Moving on to tip 3, tongue twisters. These might seem silly, but they're incredibly useful for training your mouth to handle tricky English sounds.
But what even is a tongue twister? Well, it's a phrase that's hard to say quickly because of similar sounds, like, she sells seashells by the seashore.
The more you try to speed up, the more your tongue ties itself into knots and twist, so you may ask, but why bother with tongue twisters?
Because they force you to articulate every sound. If you can master a tongue twister slowly, your everyday speech becomes clearer. It's like stretching before a workout.
Let's try one. Red lorry, yellow lorry. This one is good for practicing R and L sounds. Let's break it down. First, say each word slowly. Red, lorry, yellow, lorry. Now the full phrase, slowly. Red lorry, yellow lorry. Once that's easy, speed up a bit.
If you stumbled, slow down. Even natives mess these up. Let's try a tougher one. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Let's first break it down. Peter Piper picked pickled peppers. Now the full phrase, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
If your tongue feels tired, you're doing it right. The key is to practice 1 or 2 daily until you master it. Pick one that has a sound you are unfamiliar with and you can't pronounce well and keep practicing with it.
For example, 33 thirsty thoroughbreds thundered through the thicket. This one is good for people who have difficulty with the sound th. 33 thirsty thoroughbreds thundered through the thicket.
If you're bored, make up your own. Like, Liam loves lemon loaf loves Liam.
That's terrible. But creativity works.
Now let's talk about something important. Your accent. A lot of learners think they need to sound native to be good at English. But guess what? That's not true.
Right. You can have a French, Indian, or Brazilian accent and still speak English perfectly well. The key is avoiding mix-ups like ship versus sheep and fix pronunciation struggles that confuse listeners.
Here's a trick. Instead of fighting your accent, find your signature sound. For example, French speakers often roll their R's slightly. Lean into that. Make it confident and clear.
Or if you're Japanese and struggle with L and R, focus on mastering one first. Say light and right slowly until the difference feels natural.
Yes, record yourself saying a tricky sound. Compare it to a native speaker, then adjust just enough for clarity. You don't need to mimic them exactly.
And here's a fun fact. In parts of the US, people say dis and dat instead of this and that.
So, we've talked about sounds, intonation, stress, and embracing your accent. Now, let's put it all together with one of the most crucial ways to improve your pronunciation and speaking, which is shadowing.
For anyone new, shadowing means listening to a sentence and repeating it right after, like an echo. It trains your ears, mouth, and rhythm all at once.
So let's practice shadowing together. First, just listen. Pay attention to how we speak. The pronunciation, the stress, intonation, and everything. You can always slow down or rewind to listen again.
Ready? Let's start with my weekend story. Last weekend was so relaxing. I visited my favorite cafe downtown. I ordered a vanilla latte and read a book for hours. Later, I met a friend for a walk in the park. The weather was perfect. Sunny, but not too hot.
Now listen for a second time. This time, pause and repeat after each sentence.
Last weekend was so relaxing. I visited my favorite cafe downtown. I ordered a vanilla latte and read a book for hours. Later, I met a friend for a walk in the park. The weather was perfect. Sunny, but not too hot. Let's try again with Liam's story. First, let's listen and just notice his tone, rhythm, stress, and pronunciation.
On Friday, I stayed in and watched a comedy movie. It was about a group of friends starting a band. I laughed so hard my cheeks hurt. Afterward, I tried making pizza from scratch. Let's just say, it looked weird, but tasted amazing.
Now let's listen for the second time and pause and repeat after each sentence.
On Friday, I stayed in and watched a comedy movie. It was about a group of friends starting a band. I laughed so hard my cheeks hurt. Afterward, I tried making pizza from scratch. Let's just say, it looked weird, but tasted amazing.
Nailed it? If not, no worries. This takes practice.
That's right. Shadowing is all about practice and having fun imitating and repeating after someone. So just take your time and enjoy learning at your own speed.
And that's it. How was today's episode? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear what clicked for you.
If this helped, share it with a friend who's also learning. Oh, and if you're new here, hit subscribe.
Thank you for practicing with us. Learning takes time, so be proud of showing up today.
Take care, everyone.